What is up, everybody, and welcome back to Zachary Reality. It is your host, Zachary Reality, and we have a super exciting interview today. If you guys have been following Love Undercover and listening to my interviews, we have Jacklyn on today. Jacklyn, how are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. Just watched the finale yesterday. I'm sure you've seen all of it, right?
Of course, I watched it yesterday as well.
Okay. And I mean, I have a lot of questions and I want to get right into it with you. I'm honestly
Of course.
pissed that Lloyd did not pick you. I wanted to see you, out of all people, go to England. You were so much fun to watch. You and Renee, I thought, were the two most like entertaining people on the show as far as the girls. So I feel like we were really robbed that opportunity. Is that how you felt? With the whole thing? Like, did you feel like you deserved to like kind of go through the whole thing till the end?
Yeah, I mean, I knew Jamie and Renee, I knew they were gonna be a blast. So I was like,
hmm
he needs to pick me. We're like a little family. But you know what? Whatever.
Okay, yeah. So were you surprised when Lloyd like broke up with you and picked Ariana?
I don't know because throughout the show he was just so indecisive and up until the last minute, like he gave me no like signs or anything that it could be me or it could be her. So it was very like down to the wire up until the last minute. I was like, this could go either way. I don't know.
Did you think that it was kind of like getting ridiculous after a while, considering he met both your families? And when the way they edited it, it looked like he was going to bring you guys together at the same time. I'm like, he's not going to break up with one in front of the other.
I wouldn't be surprised if he did, but yeah, I mean, you can see like our conversation like the night after he met my family. Like, I was being a bitch. I'm like, I'm getting annoyed. Like, I'm over this, and he was like, you need to tone it down. I'm like, no, you need to pick, or like, I'm losing my fucking mind.
That's fair. I mean, you were being like a hard ass, but I feel like that's just like your personality. So I do like how
Yeah.
you were like, take it or leave it. Do you think he made the right decision?
Um, I don't. I mean, obviously, I want to say I'm the right decision. I do love Ariana, and I never
Mm-hmm.
ever mean anything against Ariana. I mean, I don't know. I said it in my clip. Like, there is an easy choice, and it's her. She's loving. She's caring. Anything he says goes. Where I'm the challenging option. I'm going to challenge him, and I believe that's what your partner should do. They bring out the best in you. They challenge you to be a better person, and that's just, I think, the two differences between us.
Yeah, that's fair. And I even like that your friend Renee was like, I want her to pick Jacqueline, but like I still love Ariana. So it's nice that you guys can still
Yeah.
root for each other, even though some girls are obviously closer with other girls.
Definitely, yeah. We all were a big family.
That's awesome. So if you did go to England and you went to his village and he was signing for his team, like how would that week have been for you? Do you think you could have handled that? Do you think that was the lifestyle that you wanted?
Yeah, I pretty much do my own thing. I probably would have like gone shopping, made new friends, like bought an apartment, just
Yeah.
I don't wait around for anybody. I think Lloyd knows that. I think Ariana and Jamie would have just been like, come over, like let's just chill. But
Mhm.
yeah, I don't know, maybe Lloyd would have made more time if it was me.
For sure. Well, what we learned about you from the show is that you have a lot of businesses. You are very
Mhm.
successful considering you're so young. So that's awesome. I've heard you were the
Thank
queen of
you.
New Jersey. So could you really leave New Jersey and like date an international man and get married? Was that actually realistic for you?
I think if I met the perfect person, it would be realistic for me. I mean, not forever. I definitely want to come back to New Jersey and like have my babies here. And I
Mhm.
think if I was with the right guy, he would do that too.
Yeah. So it's almost like if you did meet an international soccer player, like you could tour with him or wherever for a few
Yeah,
years, but then eventually you would want to settle down and like slow down.
of course, definitely.
Okay. Can we talk about how you got on this show to begin with? Because I believe you were doing like influencing before, right?
Yes, so I already had like quite a bit of following on my Instagram just from owning my gym, and I had just started a swimwear line. So
Mm.
I was already kind of running through social media. I got a DM. I get crazy DMs all the time, and it was a casting producer who was like, "Hey, we're casting this show on a huge network. I can't say much about it, but I think you would be perfect. Can you hop on a call in 5 minutes?" And I was like, "This might be a scam, but all right, like let's go for it." Hopped
Mm.
on a call, and then next thing you know, I'm in LA.
Yeah, these casting directors just know how to find people. I don't know how they do it, but a
They're
lot
good.
of people get scouted on just like Instagram.
Yeah, they're definitely good at what they do. They know what they're doing.
And I know you love Bravo, right? Like which reality shows did you like before?
Oh my god, I love Summer House. I love
Mm,
all of the Real Housewives. Of course, Real Housewives of New Jersey is like my favorite.
me too. That's my
Yeah,
favorite one.
yeah, it's so good. It's so juicy.
Are you team Teresa or team Melissa?
I know. I'm Team Teresa. What are
Mm,
you?
Teresa.
Yeah, she's an OG bad
But
bitch.
I
I
don't hate
resonate with
Melissa.
her. I don't hate Melissa. I just like if I have to pick, I'm going with Teresa always.
Someone who I really dislike this season. Are you all caught up?
A little bit. I know what's going on.
Okay, I just can't stand Margaret right now. She is driving me crazy, and I do not like the Fudas, and
Yeah,
I'm riding
what's
for
going
Teresa.
on? You know who I'm riding for? Dolores' son. Hit me up.
Always. Always. I met him at BravoCon, and I told him, I was like, "You're so hot." He was like, "Thank you."
He's he is hot. He's
Yeah.
hot.
Okay, period. Okay, so Love Undercover, when you found out you were going on the show, open to opportunities, great. Like, what did you know about it? What did you expect? And like, what were you most excited about?
I was casted for a show that was like I was going to Los Angeles to have my pick of wealthy, international, successful men. So I'm like, "Oh my god, this is great. Like, I live in a small town. I haven't dated anyone in years. Like, I'm looking for someone successful and someone who's foreign sounds really interesting." So I was like, "All right, I'm packing my bags. I'm putting my whole back into this." But I really, really wanted to stay true to myself. I do have a big, strong personality. So I was like, if this guy can handle it, these guys can handle it, then I'm willing to try.
Mhm. How do you think you would have done if you were one of the 5 girls? Let's say you had the power. I feel like if they do a season 2, which I was thinking about because I feel like now that the show is out, it gets spoiled, right? Like, or maybe they don't need to
Right.
know. Maybe the men can have a different career instead of soccer
Yeah.
players, and that could be like
Mhm.
undercover. But how do you think you would have done if you were, let's say, it's roles reversed?
I think I would have made my choice. Like all most of the men made their choices right away. I'm really intuitive, and I feel like I would have been like you. Like out of 20 men, I feel like I could pick the one after like one date. I'd be like, all right, I'm pretty sure it's you, and just kind of focus on one person instead of like getting a little crazy like the guys did. You know?
This is not The Bachelor.
Yeah. This.
For sure. Okay, so originally you dated Sebastian, and the big drama was the whole asshole comment, which we did talk about last week or a couple weeks ago at
Yeah.
the premiere. What I said, I was like, I think you guys need to have another conversation and then clear the air. Did you ever end up talking to Sebastian after that fight?
He came up to me probably before the night ended and was just like, "I just want to apologize." And I was like, "That's fine." Like, oh, sorry if you heard that.
You're good.
That's fine. We're good, but I'm completely done. Like, take me off your roster, take me off the list. They didn't show it, but all the other guys were like, "You can take one of my rooms. Like, I am inviting you to move in." Every single guy said that. So
Yeah.
I don't know, like, I just had like, I always stick to my gut, and after that conversation, I was like, "I'm being an asshole, you're the one that's making out with all these people and saving me for last. I'm not the asshole. This ain't happening."
But you guys ended up like making amends.
Yeah, we were just like, "You know what? Let's not stand in each other's way, let's not make anything uncomfortable. This is already, like, a weird ass scenario." So,
Mm.
we just separated and we did our own thing, and it was what worked best.
Yeah. How did the audience react to that? And, what were people saying online about it? Because I felt like it did get a big conversation.
Yeah, I think it was like one of the most like authentic actual fights that we had in the house. I mean, I think for the most part, you don't call a girl an asshole, you don't tell her she's acting like an asshole. You can be like, "Hey, I think like you're thinking too much." There was definitely better ways around it that he could have said it to me. Things just like it was by the end of the night, I had a couple drinks. I was like, "I'm so over this dude. He's giving me
Yeah.
the ick. Like this is my way out." So, peace.
I'm glad that you stood your ground and that you found something better because I think Lloyd was a better connection for you, even though that didn't work out. And
Mhm.
I forgot who said it, but someone was like, so Brittany can ignore all of Sebastian's red flags, but he can't ignore hers. And I was like, that is so true. Like,
That was bad.
because he should not have called you an asshole. So that was a lot. Or said you were being one. It was just a lot.
It was a lot.
Okay, so how did the Lloyd thing start? Like going back to the house, you kind of did a switch up on us. No one saw it coming. It made the show really interesting and fun. How did that kind of all come about?
I think, like, after the Sebastian scenario, I just sat down with Lloyd and we were just kind of like I was venting to him because he was the only other guy I'd gone on a date with. So I was like, "Oh, I feel comfortable with him. He has a lot going on." I just got into a fight with Sebastian. So ever since then, they didn't show it a lot on camera, but we had spent so much time together just like making fun of each other. Like
Mhm.
we would lay by the pool and just talk or just sit there and say nothing. And I think that he appreciated that because you can see everyone's pulling, "Can I chat with you? Can I this? Can I that?" And I just was like, "You know what? I'm just gonna lay here." And our friendship, you know, we were like, "Let's try it. Let's give it a shot."
Yeah, it was definitely an interesting dynamic to see two people form a connection as friends first, because there's so much pressure in the beginning to like pick a guy and get coupled up so you don't get sent
Mhm,
home. So I think it was organic, and I think that is why you were one of the biggest stars of the show, is because your whole everything that happened, like the conversation with him, the all the relationships, I just felt like you were really yourself, and I loved it was
mhm.
refreshing.
Thank you. Yeah, he allowed me to be myself. He did.
Mhm. Okay, cool. And, let's talk about Jamie and Renee for a second. So they went to England, and he
Yes.
ended up giving her the key. What did you think about let's start with, like, their experience watching them on the show with in the finale?
Watching them on the show, it's this love story, and I'm like even I'm intrigued, I'm like, "Oh my god," like, I can see her just, like, melting and all these comments, and they say they love each other, he's like,
Mhm.
"She's my wife," I'm like, "Holy shit," like, this is starting to get, like, love bombing-ish, but when someone is all on you and the cameras are there and it's high energy, like, Renee really gave in her all, and while they were together, I was like, "This is a match, like, this shit works."
They made a lot of sense, I think, but, are they still together? Do we know?
I think I don't know what Renee put out as her statement.
Okay, so
I
then
d
we'll let her speak on it.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll let Renee speak on the situation, it's not my business, none of my business.
That's fair. They were the goofy couple, I think, and it was fun to watch them. So we'll see what happens. I was really curious, like with all the couples, like who is still together versus like who, because this was filmed like a year ago. So
Yes.
I'm excited to hear. I don't know if you can tell us confirmations, but let's talk about Ryan and Sophia Q. They went to Turkey.
Mhm.
She was in the hotel. What did you think watching their scenes?
I watched it back and I was like, "Oh my god, he could not be any less interested," like, she flew all the way out there and he, like, couldn't even take 5 minutes to hang out with her. I was like, "Oh my god, if that was me, I would've packed my bags and been like, 'Peace.'"
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, it was painful to watch, but, in the end, he said he wanted to make time for her, so he gave her kind of like a verbal commitment.
And it was just really confusing because Renee called her with all that drama. Apparently, he was trying to talk to Ariana. So I don't know how she ended up forgiving him, especially when her best friend was like, "Leave this man. He's don't look stupid again." And she also didn't like that he was such a good liar. Like after a while, it was like,
Yeah.
stop lying about. Maybe they're really not allowed to because they're on Love Undercover. But like after a while,
Mhm.
it's like it gets too dirty when you lie to the mom.
Yeah, the lying to the parents is definitely like this relationship was formed off lies. So I think for any of these relationships to really flourish, it would have and could have and should have took a lot because this was a lie.
Yeah. So I guess we'll see what happens with them. And I think they're not
Mhm.
together. I hope they're not. Um, probably not. Brittany and
Ugh,
Sebastian, what did you think about their breakup, and what did you think about his house in
oh
is it
my god.
Mexico?
Yeah, I mean, me and Sebastian, we're on good terms right now, but, after seeing, like, where he lives and, like, how he behaves, I'm like, "This is giving kind of, like, spoiled behavior,"
Mm,
and, like, yeah, I don't appreciate the way that he ended things with Brittany, but, I think Brittany's amazing. I think, they did her a little dirty. She's a hard worker. She makes her own money. She definitely is an independent person, um, but yeah, I don't obviously they didn't work out.
yeah, I felt like we didn't get to hear Brittany's side of the story at the end. It felt like it was Sebastian telling the story, and we didn't really get her
Right, right.
perspective, and I kinda think it was because he was, like, the main character on the show, so they wanna make him look good, but it just
Of
felt
course.
like Brittany was getting, like, almost, like, silenced the last couple episodes, where it felt like they were
Yeah.
trying to make it seem like she was using him for all of, like, his things, when maybe she just, like, is fit for that lifestyle, and sh Miami is, like, bougie like that, so I'm sure that
Yeah,
she was open to it, but I think also like their connection just kind of fell flat after they left the country.
I agree, exactly, it did feel flat.
Um, is there any what other couple am I missing? There's one more.
Oh, Abby and Marco.
Abby and Marco. Okay. Not surprised they broke up. I don't even think they ever kissed this entire season. They always looked like friends. But when does
Yeah.
he get a girlfriend? When did he have time to get a girlfriend? I was shook.
I don't I don't know. I think that this girl had been around for a minute and maybe like this
Mm,
experience like made him like finally be like, all right, like I need to settle down to this girl. But yeah, I have no clue. It was the strangest thing to watch back. But yeah,
mm.
they're just really close friends. I don't think there's ever anything more than that.
Yeah, it was just shocking. And it gave them something because I felt like maybe they were the least interesting couple just because they didn't seem emotionally invested in each other. But it was a
Right.
curveball at the end, I think.
It was such a curveball. I was like, whoa,
Yeah, it
who's
was okay.
Alexa?
Uh-huh, okay. So overall, that was the first season of Love Undercover. How did you feel about being a part of it? How do you feel like it did? What are your notes for a season 2? Just tell me, like, your thoughts of everything.
I think this show is such an amazing idea. When I was in LA, I got to meet the guy who thought of this idea and kind of like made it all happen. And it's brilliant. You know, these guys really got to hide who they were. We had no freaking clue. We had not a clue in the world. Production did a great job. Casting did a great job. Background checking. We didn't have a clue who these guys were. So, you know, they didn't show a lot of how hard we were on them, but let me tell you, we were like, I don't care who these guys are. We were ripping them apart, and I think you can see even in the reveal, like a lot of us didn't care about the money or the athlete. We just wanted guys who cared about us, and I think that this show is going to be huge, and I think there is definitely going to be more seasons to come. Maybe not soccer stars, but I think they'll
Mm.
definitely wrap their way around to do it again because it was amazing.
Yeah, and if they do other, like even if people know the concept, then they're still gonna have to, like, figure out exactly what they do.
Yeah, exactly. It's very interesting.
Yeah, were you on to them as soccer stars? You had no idea?
I had no clue. I felt like something was off, and as like the last couple days were like ringing around, Lloyd kept changing his job, and I was like, I just think that you don't have a job. But I never thought
Yeah.
that they were athletes ever.
Did you know who like, would you have known who they were if you did know? Like, do you follow soccer?
Not at all. I know like David Beckham.
Yeah, I know a few soccer players, but not
Yeah.
much. But I knew Ryan, so he was from Manza. He was, selling Sunset, his ex. I was like, love a
Yes.
good connection. Love
That's
a good
amazing. Yeah.
crossover, for sure. Okay, what was your favorite part about living in the house?
Um, I mean, probably just it felt like having a big sleepover with everyone every night. They didn't show it, but the day that we moved into the house, we all like picked our beds or whatever, and there was six of us women in the room, and Ryan decided to sleep with us that night. Like he had his own cot. I think maybe 2 nights he stayed with us. So it was six of us women, and we're just like gossiping, bullshitting, and Ryan's just sitting there like the dad, and he was just like giving us advice, like taking it all in. I mean, these are just like little memories that like you never thought you'd be living with a group of women at like 25 years old. I thought I was over that, but it was actually a lot of fun.
Yeah, it sounds fun to just, like, hang out with a bunch of friends and, it's like, party, have a sleepover, have the
Hmm.
cameras rolling to show it all, and date some international men, like, yeah, it sounds
It
like a
was
good time.
fun.
I love that. What is something you learned about yourself on the show or, like, watching it back?
um, God, I learned that I'm a specific type of woman. I think it takes a really strong guy to handle me, and I said it in the show, and I say it all the time. I'm not going to dim my light for anyone else. I don't care how much money you have, how much fame you have, how much anything. I just learned I just keep staying true to myself and to put the phone down. It was actually really
Mhm.
great to like not have my phone and be like revolved around pictures and social media and just like dive into getting to know these people. It really did help by putting the phones away and just getting to have communication.
I love that. How was it for you to have your family on the show at the end, and what was that experience like for them watching you?
God, it was so fun. I mean, my dad is my best friend. He's a huge character in my life. So for him to meet Lloyd, it was just like it was hilarious to me. And
Mhm.
them playing like mafia music when like Lloyd walks in to meet him cracked me up. But yeah, it was a lot of
That was
fun. I mean,
funny.
they didn't show a lot of the clips of my dad and Lloyd, but my dad's like, "You're not Jacklyn's type. You're not really." Like,
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
cute.
How has the show helped your business? How are people like, coming to the gym now to talk Love Undercover? Like, what has it kind of been like in your town, like sharing the show with everybody? Because you obviously have a huge
Oh my
community
god.
there.
It's been great. Everyone's been super supportive. It's a busy weekend here, so we have tons of girls coming in, probably more than usual because of the show, to take classes. My bikinis have been doing amazing. It's definitely been good to get the word out, and business is booming, baby.
Good. I'm so glad. Well, thank you so much for coming on and chatting with me. I
Sure.
love you so much. I loved meeting you. We totally vibed last week for everyone listening. Let us know where we can follow you and find you on all the socials and your plug
Yeah.
everything.
All right, you guys can follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Jacklyn period fit FIT. And then also my website where you can buy my fitness plans and check out my bikinis is jacklynfit.com.
I love it. All right. Thank you, Jacqueline. I'll talk to you later.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye, love.
Bye. And thank you all for watching and listening.